What's up, Pool family? Today I am talking about a serious topic, and that is our children. Because it's just so much going on out here right now with the children, the organ harvesting thing, children coming up missing, sexual trafficking. It's just a lot to think about, as a parent. And I have just been feeling like, we need to get back to some of the things that mamas used to tell us back in the day that would help to keep us safe. Now, of course, when I was younger, we didn't have to worry about a lot of those things. It was safe for us to walk outside alone as children. We could walk up the street without worrying about what might happen or worrying if we were even going to make it back. That type of thing was not, you know, what we had to worry about at those times like we do now. So I just wanted to share a few tips to help us to protect these babies out here and keep them safe. First and foremost, we want to tell the children that when they're out in public without us as parents, that they have to pay attention to their surroundings and what's going on around them. A lot of times the children are looking at their phones and looking down and may not even be aware of who's around them and that type of thing. And so I think it's important that we take a moment to talk to them and just tell them to, pay attention. Look at the people around you and make sure that you do an assessment and see if there's anyone who strikes you as creepy. Pay attention to your feelings when you look at people and when they get close to you and things like that. And if they feel like they're creepy, then, move away from them quickly, that type of thing. Because children's feelings are usually very good. Children are very sensitive to energy. They can feel good and not good energy. So usually if they feel something, it's for a reason. And if we tell them to pay attention to their feelings, that could be helpful to them. Also, we want to make sure we are very careful with who we're leaving the children with. Be very careful. I was told, whoever you leave your children with, they're going to influence them. So you want to be very careful about who you're leaving them with and making sure they're in a safe environment with people that you can trust to take good care of them, okay? Even when children, if we leave children with other children, if children are unsupervised, things can happen. So you have to be very careful. I would just say I remember a case of one of my sister friends who was leaving her daughter to play with her friend's son, and they were doing all kind of things together because they had so much time alone together. And even though they were young, their parents didn't think that these types of things could happen because of their age, but it was happening. It was happening. So, don't let your children be around other children for long periods of time alone without you knowing what's going on, okay? Another point is when children are out walking around, try to make sure that they are not walking alone. Most of the people who are coming up missing were alone. It's just easier to attack someone who's alone than it is to attack someone who's in a group. So, we don't want those things to happen. We're trying to avoid those things from happening. That's why I'm having this conversation. And so, make sure you talk to your children about that so that they can be aware and try to walk with their friends as much as possible and be alone, walking as little as possible, and especially after dark. They should not be walking alone at all. We should make sure that we, have them covered by someone so that we can keep them safe. Next, you want to also, if your children do get approached by a stranger, make sure that they know what to do. Tell them to make sure to holler. They can scream, they could bite, they could scratch, they could stomp on someone's toes, poke them in the eyes, kick them in the, in the groin. they want to do something to try to stop the person from hurting them. So oftentimes just having that conversation can be very helpful, because when kids fight back, they can be left alone. Those stories have come up. That children are released if they bite someone or certain things like that. So make sure you have that conversation with your children. Also, for the older children, if they are, that you can't avoid them being alone, go ahead and get them some pepper spray, a taser, or something that they can use to protect themselves. Not guns for children or knives, but they do have many different things that you can buy online at a pretty decent cost that could stop someone in their tracks. So it is worth it for them to have that, because it's their life that you want to protect. And then lastly, I would just say you can also make sure that they have some self-defense classes and just learn how to do some basic self-defense for themselves, because there are some moves that you can make. Someone attacks your neck, the blocks and different things like that. I remember taking those classes, but they can be very helpful, and they can prevent something terrible from happening to you or your children. But we do want to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to keep our children safe, especially the daughters. I'm hearing so much about young girls, young black girls being kidnapped or just coming up missing. So we just have to do better, family. These children are all of our children. We have to think of them as they are all our children, because they could be marrying into your family or something like that. You never know. So if we have that mindset, then we would look out for them in that way. And if you see some child out there that looks like they need help, then step up and help. Don't pull your camera out and take pictures. Help these children, because that's what they need. They need the grown folks to help them. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you share it far and wide, and prayerfully we can save some lives. Until the next time, family. Hatapu. Uncle Jasaneb.